Alex Mercer gazed out the thick glass porthole as the sleek spacecraft glided noiselessly past Mars, its rust-hued surface pockmarked with craters. He'd seen countless breathtaking sights in his years as an astronaut, but the wonder of space travel never grew old. The vastness of space, sprinkled with stars and planets, made his problems back on Earth seem small. Up here, he felt free. Unencumbered by earthly worries, he could simply exist. "Entering planetary orbit in T-minus 10 minutes, came the pilot's voice over the intercom. This was Alex's first mission to the newly discovered exoplanet Kepler 442b, located in the constellation Lyra some 1200 light-years from Earth. Data from the Kepler Space Telescope indicated it was a rocky planet with a size, density, and geology similar to Earth. This made it a prime candidate for mining precious metals and other vital resources that humanity desperately needed. As the most seasoned astronaut on the crew, Alex was selected to lead the mission. He felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders to ensure everything went smoothly. The stakes were high, with the future of space exploration potentially hanging in the balance. Still, Alex embraced the pressure. It gave him purpose. The voyage itself over the past 6 months was mostly routine, lulling the passengers into comfortable boredom. They passed time reading, watching films, or gazing out the portholes as stars streamed by in hypnotic streaks of light. Mission Control kept them busy, running equipment checks, testing communication systems, and maintaining vital ship functions. But as they approached their new destination, excitement and anticipation permeated the cabin, stirring crew members from their lethargy. Alex drifted over to the porthole next to Dr. Eva Rollins, the head geologist on the mission. Shoulder-length brown hair framed bright green eyes that twinkled with curiosity. Eva was in her late 30s, one of the top scientists in her field. Alex respected her intelligence and counted on her expertise about Kepler 442b's surface. "Can you believe we get paid to do this?" Alex said. "I'd explore space for free if I had to." Eva smiled. "It never gets old, does it? I remember my first orbit. I just stared out the window drinking it all in. The beauty, the mystery. Not to mention the historic nature of this mission," Alex added. "Just think, we could be the first humans to walk on an alien world. What I wouldn't give to be Neil Armstrong right now, taking one giant leap for mankind." Their conversation drifted to hopes about what awaited them. Soaring snow-capped mountains, lush alien flora blanketing the landscape, even extraterrestrial creatures perhaps moving about. After endless weeks confined on the ship, they couldn't wait to feel solid ground beneath their boots and survey the alien terrain firsthand. The pilot announced final approach maneuvers over the intercom. Through the porthole, Kepler 442b loomed large now in the black void of space, blanketed in swirling white clouds and ochre-colored landmasses. Alex tightened his grip on Eva's hand tightly as excitement coursed through his veins. What secrets did this new planet hold? In mere hours, they would be the first humans to step onto its hidden surface, realizing a dream so many explorers that came before could only imagine. The possibilities felt endless. "Let's get suited up, partner," Alex said, patting Eva on the back. The biggest adventure of their lives was about to unfold. Alex and Eva agreed to meet in the landing deck 15 minutes prior to boarding the shuttle that would take them to the surface of Kepler 442b. In the preceding hours, since arriving in orbital position, the science team had feverishly analyzed data from the surface, scrutinizing for the optimal landing coordinates. Probe readings showed signs of mineral deposits near the northern polar region, so the crew agreed on a site nestled at the foot of a towering mountain range. As Alex floated through the corridors toward the landing bay, clad in his spacesuit, excitement flooded his senses. In just minutes, he would set foot where no human had before. Approaching the shuttle, he saw Eva performing last-minute equipment checks, testing atmospheric sensors and radar panels. Her spacesuit was already sealed up, but Alex could detect the excitement in her eyes matching his own as their gazes locked. "Can you believe this moment is finally here?" Eva beamed. "I barely slept a wink imagining what we'll discover." "Well, the coffee machine will get some mileage today to keep us alert," Alex laughed, taking a warm pouch from the dispensary machine to stimulate his senses. "I keep wondering if there will be signs of life. Maybe not sentient beings, but plants, animals even." "As a geologist, I try not dwell in speculation," Eva grinned. "I let the ground, the rocks and soil, tell the story. But I'll admit, I do wonder if basic organisms may have evolved here, same as Earth. We could discover an entirely new subdomain of life never seen." As senior pilot Sam Matthews and co-pilot Jen Wu completed launch preparations, all systems showing green, Alex helped Eva buckle into her seat. Mission control back on Earth came over the communications feed, giving the official go-ahead to launch. Taking his own seat beside Eva, Alex fastened in as the engines roared to life beneath them. Through the front viewport, the surface nebula of Kepler loomed ever closer. "Shuttle CX-23 initiating descent sequence," Sam called out over shipcoms. As retro thrusters fired in all directions to steady them against buffeting atmosphere, the surface details snapped into focus, windswept peaks dusted with snow, winding valleys with patches of vegetation. They soared over a high desert plateau toward their targeted landing zone. Finally, with a gentle bump, the shuttle touched down on alien soil. Systems all still green. For a moment no one moved, realizing they had survived first contact. Alex gripped Eva's hand once more, squeezing it tightly to anchor himself in the reality of their historic accomplishment. Humans setting foot where no one from Earth had gone before. His heart swelled with wonder and pride. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kepler 442b, Sam announced. The adventure was only just beginning. Donning helmets, Alex lowered the rear loading ramp, revealing the surface for the first time. Wind swept grey plains with jagged mountains jutting in the distance. Clutching Eva's hand, he led the way down the ramp, boots crunching on gritty sand and rock. The stuff of science fiction dreams made real after years of training. With one giant step, Alex planted his foot firmly on primordial soil, changed forever. Alex surveyed the alien landscape before him with awe, scarcely believing they now stood on Kepler 442b. Jagged peaks jutted along the horizon, while rolling hills stretched to windswept plains covered in coarse vegetation. Stunted trees dotted the landscape, bent and twisted by ceaseless winds. Under the yellow-tinged sky, he truly felt like an explorer on an alien world. "Initial readings check out," Eva said, consulting the sensor equipment attached to her suit. "Breathable atmosphere with slightly higher oxygen content than Earth. Ambient temp -5 centigrade." Alex activated the remote rover, nicknamed Nomad, which began exploring their surroundings with its array of cameras, soil analyzers, and detection equipment. The onboard science team back on the ship monitored Nomad's data closely. "We detected rich veins of iron ore and nickel buried about 2 kilometers north," the geology chief Parker reported over comms. "Proceed on foot using the nav beacon on Nomad. We'll trail behind cataloging mineral composition." Eva shouldered a heavy backpack loaded with rock sample kits while Alex grabbed essential survival gear. Inflatable shelter, rations, communication terminal, and weapons as a precaution. You could never be too careful as explorers in uncharted territory, and they set out on foot across the alien terrain with Nomad guiding the way, the anti-gravity drive letting it hover seamlessly over jutting rocks. Tucked inside his helmet, Alex felt both exhilaration and solitude staring at an empty, lifeless landscape. He found himself almost craving to see some small creature dart amidst the sparse trees or hear cries echoing in the mountain passes. Anything to break the dead silence around them. "Penny for your thoughts?" Eva asked over suitcoms after a long period without talking. "I guess I pictured more signs of life by now," Alex replied. "I know most the landscape is barren and frozen, but I held out hope." "This is only one small pocket of the planet, remember," Eva reassured him. "Once mineral excavation gets underway, I'm sure we'll have chance to explore further, maybe closer to the equator. Spirits lifted by the prospects ahead, they pressed forward through scattered rock formations and rolling hillsides. Approaching the 2-kilometer mark, the sensor equipment began registering significant metals buried roughly 500 meters below ground. "This is it!" Eva exclaimed, her face flush with excitement inside her visor. "Let's take some preliminary samples then. Set the drill rig." As they surveyed the area discussing logistics, the ground began to tremble, almost imperceptibly at first. Then violently bucking, it threw them off balance. Heart racing inside his suit, Alex attempted to scramble away from cascading rock slides. What was happening? This planet wasn't supposed to have seismic activity. Alex shielded his visor from a spray of gravel as the shaking intensified. Eva grabbed his arm to steady herself as they struggled to remain upright. All around them, sediment burst forth, dislodged by the unexpected quakes. "Where's this seismic activity coming from?" Eva shouted over the rumbling. "The geology reports showed no indications of tectonic plate movement." Alex accessed the emergency channel on his suit comms. "Nomad, do you read me? We need immediate evac." Through the billowing debris, he spotted their rover laying on its side, toppled by the quakes. No response came over the radio, only empty static. "Comms are down. We're on our own," he yelled to Eva. If they stayed put, they risked getting buried by landslides. Grabbing her hand, Alex raced toward a sheer rock face that could provide shelter from falling debris. Suddenly, a deafening crack resounded as the ground split open 10 meters away. From the crevice snaked a thick, metallic-looking tendril covered in glowing blue modules. It visibly tightened around a boulder, then hurled it skyward, narrowly missing Alex and Eva by mere feet. "What the hell is that?" Eva screamed. Before Alex could reply, more tendrils burst forth, twisting wildly, as if possessed by rage at being disturbed. In the span of seconds, a nightmarish mechanoid creature with rows of adjustable appendages pulled itself from beneath the soil. Glowing optics on its forward module immediately fixed on the 2 humans nearby. Alex's heart pounded inside his helmet. "It looks almost artificial. Some kind of cyborg?" The mechanoid creature hovered closer, appendages extended threateningly. Was it some long abandoned sentinel left by an alien civilization? It seemed aware of their presence but not intent on communicating. Eva scrambled with Alex toward the rock face as the creature fired searing plasma bursts overhead, gouging smoldering craters in the soil. Just before reaching shelter, a glancing shot from the mechanoid severed the oxygen line on Eva's left leg. She cried out in pain, collapsing behind the rocks. "Eva, are you all right?" Alex rushed to examine her suit, frantic hands searching for the breach. Oxygen bled out rapidly from the left greave. He pulled a sealant kit from his pack and quickly patched the tear, trying to repressurize her suit leg. But their ordeal was far from over. The ominous mechanoid circled nearby, weapons trained on their location. They were trapped with no comms, no rover, no way to reach the shuttle landing site, miles away. Alex hugged Eva tightly, then peered out cautiously from behind the rock face, searching for options. Any chance of survival now depended on evading their hunter long enough to send a distress call. Crouched behind the rock face, Alex racked his brain assessing their options, while the mechanoid hovered just out of view. With comms still down, they needed to reach higher ground to send a distress signal. "That bipedal machine took out our rover pretty easy," he said. "We'll have to move fast and smart to avoid its weapons fire." He explained the plan to Eva. They would sprint in a zigzag pattern up to the sheer mountainside 500 meters away. The rock ridges along the way would provide intermittent shelter to duck behind. Once they gained some altitude on the slopes, their suit radios could likely reach the shuttle or orbital ship. "My oxygen leg reserves dropped about 10% from the breach," Eva replied with a grimace, "but I should have enough to make it." At the first break in plasma fire from their attacker, Alex yelled, "Go!" and they broke cover, half running, half limping across the barren terrain. The mechanoid spotted them instantly, appendages twitching to reacquire targets. Barrages of searing energy blasts erupted around them as they serpentined toward the foothills. Breathless inside his helmet, Alex helped Eva scramble behind an outcropping just as a blast detonated the ground where she'd been standing. Just flesh wounds so far. Alex grinned, assuringly despite their dire situation, checking the charge meter on his smart gun. He peered out from cover and snapped off a few surprise shots, more to distract their opponent than inflict damage. The return fire was instant and devastating, pulverizing the rocks protecting them. "We can't win a firefight with that thing," Eva said, between ragged breaths. She unstrapped a geoscience probe from her pack and frantically modified its small dish antenna. "But I can amplify my suit radio through this. Worth a shot." During the next skirmish, Alex laid down covering fire while Eva sent out a broad-spectrum distress call. "Mayday! This is Kepler Expedition Team. We are under attack from an unknown cybernetic organism and require immediate evac. Our position is—" The message repeated in a loop as they both ducked continuous weapons barrage. For many tense minutes, no reply came. Then miraculously, Sam the shuttle pilot's voice cut through the chaos. "Explorer Team, we read you. Locking onto your position now. What the hell is going on down there?" Before Alex could shout a reply, the mechanoid's glowing optics fixed on their location. It had zeroed in on the distress signal's point of origin. They took off in a desperate run across the barren landscape as fiery flashes erupted, barely deflected by the energy shielding on Alex's suit. Just 50 more meters to the mountain city where the shuttle could extract them. Suddenly a blast hit Eva's damaged leg directly, melting through. She cried out, falling forward as her helmet visor cracked on impact. Alex dove to catch her limp body, dragging her urgently toward shelter. "Hold on, Eva. Sam, get here quick." She gazed up at him, face bloody but still defiant. Only 100 meters to salvation. Behind the next ridge awaited their ride out this nightmare. Adrenaline coursing through his veins, Alex hauled Eva's now unconscious body towards the rendezvous point. The shuttle swung into view over the ridge, rear bay door already open as it prepared to scoop them up. "Closing fast on your location," Sam the pilot confirmed over the radio. "We'll provide covering fire from the plasma cannons." The mechanoid pursuer paused its advance as flaming rounds pelted the ground at its feet. Fighting the urge to stop and catch his breath, Alex powered the final meters to safety, muscles burning. Hefting Eva through the bay door into a waiting technician's arms, Alex dove inside, yelling, "Go, go, go!" As the ship veered skyward, he ripped off his helmet and immediately tended to Eva, applying emergency seals to her suit and checking vital signs. Weak, but stable. Luckily, no suit punctures, so she avoided decompression or gas poisoning. As they broke orbit, the science team analyzed the disturbing data. This entire planet seemed infested with dangerous, self-replicating AI entities they stumbled upon, perhaps explaining the absence of biological life. "You both showed extreme bravery down there," Sam shouted back from the cockpit. "We transmitted our encounter to Earth Defense Command. They're dispatching a rapid response fleet to address this threatening AI presence across Kepler." Alex nodded solemnly, adrenaline wearing off as the enormity of their discovery sunk in. This mission uncovered not valuable minerals, but an entire world ruled by vicious machine organisms lying dormant under the surface. Yet as he clutched Eva's hand, relief washed over him. They survived the ordeal, and now had warning to prepare Earth against this menace should it spread beyond Kepler. As the shuttle glided silently toward the orbiting spacecraft that was their ride home, Alex gazed out the window, contemplating their narrow escape. He turned to Eva with a weary smile. "Quite the first contact story we'll have when we get back, huh?" She laughed weakly, but with profound gladness lighting up her face. Together they defied the odds and uncovered a threat which now must be contained. The future suddenly seemed fraught with danger, but also renewed purpose. Their incredible tale of perseverance in the face of the unknown would inspire Earth's next generation of explorers. And Alex knew then this was only the beginning of discoveries that awaited them out in the eternal darkness among the stars. No matter what alien encounters or perils the vast cosmos held, The indomitable human spirit of curiosity and courage would carry them through.